to Thoughts on the Edge. It has been 3 years since our last video. As you know, CJ and CJ started his doctorate and has since graduated and started working as a professor in California. I got busy producing a show and starting a notary business. And so things have taken us in different directions, but we are leaving this platform open for his return. And we're also adding a new host to the Thoughts on the Edge family. My good friend and co-star Shaun Grant is here to start us back off. So, what's up, brother? Let's do this.
Yes.
What's going
Thank
on?
you. Thank you for allowing me to share this platform with you. And you guys should hear some of our conversations.
Oh,
Well, maybe not all of them,
maybe not all of
but
them.
but I'm happy and excited that we get to come here and chat and just basically speak what's on our hearts and
That's
inspire people listening. And so you guys, I think you're in for a treat.
That's what this platform is all about.
I'm
And it's
ready.
funny
Yeah,
that we
for
started,
sure.
CJ and I started this platform about 3 years ago
Mm.
during the parallel of,
COVID, right? Mm.
and we just were having intense conversations about different things. And I think he was the one who said, we should start doing something with these. And
Yeah.
that's how Thoughts on the Edge, came to fruition. So now when you just say, hey, let's speak freely about what's on our minds. That's really what this platform is about. So today we're
Exactly.
just going to have a good old conversation about ourselves, and
Yeah.
that's going to lead into different things. And so sit back, get you some coffee, and let's start this conversation.
Let's get it on and pop it.
So let me ask you, Shaun,
Hmm.
um, what got you into the acting and the performing world, really?
Very good question. So I started out as an athlete and actually, no, let me take that back. I'm going to rewind. Uh, I actually started out as a performer when I was going to private school in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Mm,
We had what we call a spring fair at the close to the end of every year. It was like in April of every year,
mhm,
where each class would pick a song,
mm.
choreograph a dance,
Oh, wow.
get on stage,
Mm.
and perform it in front of the entire school and the entire school's family and connections. And I was absolutely terrified at first when I did it. Right? Imagine being 5 years old dancing to Elvis and just basically shaking in your boots. I think that was Elvis we did in kindergarten, but I can remember it
Mhm.
was in kindergarten. We did that song. Um, actually, no, you know who it was? Elvis was the next year. It was oh, I bet you wonder how I do.
Oh,
The California Raisins,
okay,
right?
okay, okay. Right, right.
We danced to that song, and I remember being on stage with a trash bag and some
Oh,
sunglasses, dressed like a raisin, and dancing around. And I just absolutely loved it. I could not get enough of that when it was done. And I was thinking, I'm ready for the encore. And they
mhm.
were like, no, 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 it's only one time. So each year, we did that from kindergarten all the way through eighth grade. Each year, I secretly relished that time
Mhm.
in being a performer.
Mhm.
And then eighth grade ended. I let it go, got into sports, got into athletics because I thought that's what I should be doing as
Mhm.
opposed to what I really wanted to be doing.
Mhm.
And then, sports injuries came up and all that stuff, whole lot of things happening there.
Right.
And then I found myself back into acting again
Wow.
by divine coincidence.
Mhm.
And it was once again that same feeling I got as that California raisin.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing ever since.
And what a journey. And what's so interesting is you never think that those little things that you
Hmm.
do as a kid
Yeah.
kind of prepare you for the path that you're supposed to be on down the road. Um,
Yes.
Me, for example, and I've told this story so many times on so many different platforms to different
Hmm.
people, is growing up, I was into, I started off doing motivational speaking at 7 years old
Yeah.
and did things all over South Florida, speech and debate competitions, keynotes for different organizations, and
And this is in his book, guys. Make sure you go pick it up.
yeah,
Young, Gifted, and Directionless on Amazon in paperback and Kindle. Sorry to interrupt you.
extra promo.
There you go.
So I, having done that for so many years, and no one was really talking about what was next.
Hmm.
By the time high school hit, I was like, I'm done with this chapter. I need to do something else. And for a hot
Yeah.
second there, I wanted to get into medicine,
Yeah.
but then came that reality check where it was like, no, you have respect for what they do,
Yeah.
but that's not really what you're going to be doing for the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life.
Right.
And I was looking for something to do. And so
Hmm.
my parents were like, well, my grandmother was like, well, why don't you try broadcasting? And I was like, only thing about that is them 2 a.m. in the morning wake up calls. I don't think I want that. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yeah. The
So
morning news.
in the morning, I don't think I want them late hours, the early
Yeah.
hours and the weekend calls, which, ironically in our business, that's part of
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So, but then uh my sophomore year of college, a couple friends of mine, I took this video production class, and a couple friends from high school
Hmm.
were in that class. And that semester they put on this horror web series, which with several of the other class members. And I became like enthused with their work ethic and putting
Yeah.
that, yeah, they're creating, storylines, and, there was cameras and all that stuff around me. And then
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
like,
whole new world, right?
yeah, I'm like, ooh, this is kind of cool. I think
Yeah.
okay, I think I see I want to do something like this. And so I started writing,
Yeah.
wrote several different concepts.
Hmm.
And during 2020, I was like, okay, if I don't do something with one of these concepts that I've written,
Hmm.
it's just going to be an idea in my head for the next couple of years. And I registered my company on Sunbiz. I wrote the first season in 5 weeks, and I called up a couple people. I called up Dan Block, and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm doing this thing. You want to do it with me? And that's how The Associates was born. And that's how I really got into acting and producing. So,
Hmm.
like I said, it's always a journey, and you don't think that the places that God is putting you are going to prepare you for certain things. But
Right.
now that we're in this business and that we've gone through that journey, I don't think we see ourselves kind of doing anything else. I mean, it's hard to, I
Yeah.
think, go back to, I don't want to say ordinary, but going down the traditional path
Yeah.
once you've
Absolutely.
been exposed to this.
Yeah, no, completely, man. You make a great point because once you once you sip that Kool-Aid, you know, as we know,
I
if
know.
we all had when we had Kool-Aid for the first time, it
Mhm.
just kind of give you that,
Mhm. That buzz,
especially
like
after
you like,
after you've had it with
yeah.
some good barbecue or some chips, you taste that Kool-Aid, you can't get enough. You start
Mm-mm.
down in the pitcher.
Like
And
man,
this is kind of like the same
yeah,
that
yeah.
there's something very magnetic about it that
Mhm.
draws you in, and to think that you are creating
Yeah,
worlds for people to find themselves in these characters
yeah,
and also be inspired by watching a character arc,
right.
throughout the series and stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing, truly.
It's amazing. And I mean, when I look back on the first season and writing the second season now, that growth,
Hmm.
that development, that, just adding to that world that we're
Yes.
already in, right? And adding
Hmm.
to that, and having to peel back those layers and
Yeah.
add more to it. It's just like, damn, you
Yeah.
really get immersed, right?
Yeah.
And it's just I think it's unlike anything that I've ever experienced or been a part of. So I'm just
Hmm.
happy to be able to have the ability to do that,
Yeah.
and be, and kind of be a champion of giving people opportunities in
Yeah.
this business that wouldn't otherwise have done it,
Right.
you
And
know.
to add on to everything you said, learning, incorporating, your own story into your acting as
Yeah.
you're producing all of this, which is
Yeah.
like, and everybody he's doing a fantastic job
Oh,
with AJ Maddox. And, it's not easy to just step in to a production, to a character and begin to develop that character. And so Ray's done a tremendous job with
oh,
that.
thank you.
Like I said, in addition to really operating things behind the scenes as
Yeah.
well. So
And having this guy as a part of the production team now, and it's funny how we met. Um,
yeah,
I have to thank social media for that because Instagram has that
it ain't all
funny.
bad.
Instagram, as a matter of fact, has that funny way of saying, Shaun Grant is following you, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Because you get so many of those requests on the day, and you
Hmm.
don't know who these people are.
Yep.
And I remember looking at his profile a couple times and I'm like, oh, he's from Fort Lauderdale. Okay, so
Hmm.
he's at the time, I was like, oh,
Yep.
he's local. Um, and followed him for a couple of years. And
Hmm.
here's the funny thing about writing. Writing the first season, I was creating a character, Malcolm,
Yeah.
and Malcolm is AJ's father. So for those of you who will watch the coming first season,
Hmm.
you automatically know the connection. You're getting tea behind the scenes before it's so Malcolm is AJ's father, and I remember I was like, okay, who am I gonna get to play this guy? Because I didn't have many actor friends at the time.
Yep.
And he just sort of popped in my head, Shaun, and I'm like, okay, either he can do it or he can't do it.
Yeah.
And I remember reaching out to him. Hold on one second, let me pause this. Hold on, y'all, we'll be
Yep.
right. I'm back.
All,
I had to
all good.
troubleshoot a little issue with the parentals.
Oh, gotcha.
Always when you're in the mood of creating, so as I was saying, it's interesting how Shaun, came into my life and, being able to, when it was time to, start casting Malcolm, I really, like I said, I really didn't have any actor friends, as many as I have now. And
Hmm.
especially when it comes to African American actors and trying to cast, local actors in South Florida, you really it's really like a dime a dozen, type thing. And so I'm grateful that I sent that message to Shaun and that he's now a part of the associates in the RGT family. And he's done such an amazing job. I mean, some of the stuff that y'all will see in that first season, this dude right here brought the A game. I mean, we'll tell you guys about that in future episodes, like some of our favorite shots and things that we have kind of put together. But this guy is doing an amazing job, and I can't wait for you guys to see what we've been working on the last couple of years.
Thank you. Very exciting all the way around, making it, preparing,
Ugh.
interacting, building friendships
Mhm.
and connections with people. It's been a remarkable,
Yeah,
opportunity to embark upon here now since 2022. I think we got
2022.
started.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I am completely thrilled and excited watching it all come together experiencing the laughs
The killer
along the
dance moves
way.
on set when we're not when the cameras aren't rolling. And some of the killer jokes and situations that we
Oh
encounter. I
gosh.
mean, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say car insurance for one thing, and I can take that for what it's worth, but that's the
Oh
that is
God.
the and that's just the energy that we bring to not only the characters but
Hmm.
the overall set experience. I mean,
Yeah.
being able to walk on a set and just feel so relaxed and feel so everybody's willing to help. No one's judging anyone. Like we're all like when it comes time to do the job, we're doing the job, we're in character, we're serious. But at the end
Yeah.
of it, we've got camaraderie, we're laughing, we're cracking jokes, we're talking
Hmm.
life. And I think that's what all environments when you're working and collaborating with a group of people, that's what, it should be. So
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yeah. No, I think you guys are going to definitely see
yeah.
all the work and energy
Hmm.
and just talent
Yeah,
and gifts that people shared contributing to this production. And yeah, it's going to be a good one for sure.
for sure. So, um, next question is, how did you make the transition to entrepreneurship? I mean, I know that acting kind of bridges the gap, but
Yeah.
what really made you as a performer? What was the point where you were like, "Oh, I want to, venture into entrepreneurship?" And talk a little.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's a great question. So I think acting in itself, much as you just mentioned, is entrepreneurship in every sense because I feel like the actors and performers who are the most successful are the ones that treat it like a business,
Mhm.
right down to, marketing your stuff, marketing yourself now on social media. Social media wasn't
Mhm.
really a big thing back
Right,
when I started in 2007,
right.
but now you have basically your own in-house marketing
Yeah.
to create the optics of everything that you get to show people that what you're doing. And that's led for me so many different jobs
Yeah.
by being able to get that footage and place it online. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
um but it entrepreneurship came about because there was just this urgency to create and to create under my own terms, right?
Mm.
I could easily, and I used to do this, I would want people to save me. I would want people to come in and have their expertise, and I would give all my confidence to them
Mhm.
to create something that I had a vision for.
Right.
And that initially felt good, but then it was like kind of like, no, I God wants me to do this on my own.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I didn't know a thing about nothing. But I just went for it, right? Because
Right.
sometimes that passion, you just figure it out along the way.
Right.
And we just went for it. My wife and I, we began creating this stuff, and we began to learn how to self-publish. She was
Mhm.
really, really great with the books and stuff, and getting LLCs and S corps at the time, and all this stuff.
Mhm.
And I was fortunate because I had the opportunity to just be creative and just let all of this content come out. And man, it blossomed into so many different things that now I'm just like, I just tune in and listen to see what idea
Mhm.
is coming up. And if it's something that resonates with me, how can I put it out to use it in order to inspire, empower, and uplift people? And
Right.
so it's just been that creative essence and urgency pushing me forth, or not pushing, but more like nudging me forth to
Mhm.
express myself, which then is just the offering of a gift that can change people's lives. And that's really how it got started.
Yeah. I think I went down, the path a totally different way. I mean,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship revealed itself to me, um, and I didn't even know that, like I said, that was a thing. And you would think that as a speaker, though
Hmm.
lessons would be at an early age, like as you come into adulthood, that those things would be, you know, taught to you or, encouraged to you, but, not
Hmm.
so much, the case. So
Yes.
when I was doing speaking, no one was really talking about the entrepreneurial side of it. No one really was, like I said, like we both agreed, social media was not a thing back in the
Yeah.
early 2000s. And so I think if we all had an Instagram or a YouTube or Facebook, around that time, things would definitely be, a lot different, or,
Yeah.
you'd be further along the path than,
Hmm.
and not to anyone to look back or dwell on the past, but when you have these marketing tools, free marketing that's available
Yeah.
to you, it can change your whole dynamic
Yeah.
in the course of a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
Not sorry,
Mhm.
a few minutes. The notification just popped up here that the meeting will be
Oh,
10 minutes, but
oh, good. But no,
um,
you're right. You're right in a sense. It can. I mean, because how,
yeah,
like, you can place a video on YouTube, you can place a video on Instagram, Facebook, and it can impact people so quickly, right? Just by you sharing what you're passionate about. So
right,
I think you were actually right when you said in a few minutes.
yeah,
Intuitively that came through, but
yeah.
it's actually correct though.
Yeah. And so when I got into, going from speaking to writing, acting, producing, I learned self-publishing literally
Yes.
while I was finishing up Young, Gifted, and Directionless,
Yeah.
no guidance at all. YouTube
Mhm.
was my best friend and
Yeah.
taught me how to do that. And then, of course, stumbling into something as simple as becoming a notary and
Yeah.
learning all of the different stuff there. It's like,
Mhm.
when you're growing up, our parents, and no shade to anyone out there, but sometimes families, they don't exactly, entrepreneurship is something that isn't talked about in a lot of
Yeah.
households growing up,
Yeah.
because it's hard. It's not
Yeah.
easy. It's not something that's
It's a
going,
whole nother paradigm.
yeah, that's going to happen for you
Yeah.
overnight. I mean, it can, but realistically, it takes time to do those things.
Yeah.
And so when you find out about those different outlets and different things, and you start getting opportunities and making money and starting, getting collaborations, you go, oh, this is a whole different world. Like,
Yeah.
and to Shaun's point, it's, you grow and you start to see these different things, and then you start to say to yourself, man, am I blessed? But then when people ask you, well, hey, would you ever go back to working a regular job? And you're like,
Feel like not a chance.
see, what had happened was, so
You're like, nope.
nope. Entrepreneurship is, it. And you have a lot of people, I find now that I have a lot of people that come up to me after reading my book or seeing some of my posts and go, how did you do this? Like,
Mhm.
I think I wanna learn from you. And
Yeah.
I always tell them the best is to just start what you're passionate about. Just do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
don't worry about the numbers, don't worry about anything, just put it out there and
Mhm.
let the universe guide you. And you will
Absolutely.
surprise yourself the things
Absolutely.
that come about when you just trust yourself and your abilities.
Yeah. That's the biggest block for so many people is just starting. And it's interesting in my own experience, if you can overcome that block, you'd be so shocked how many things begin to open up from there. But it's like, whatever reason, people are blocked from starting.
Hmm.
And it's like you see so many individuals with all this talent, all these gifts, all this expertise, and then
Hmm.
they look up 20 years later and like, man, I was getting ready to do that, but I just never started it,
It's never
you
started.
know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take talent. It doesn't take,
And
you
listen,
know.
you see some of the things that we see
Yeah.
on social media on a daily basis that are getting views and are getting sponsorships and are getting things, and you're just like, how is this a thing? Right. And
Yeah.
then even in our own experience,
Mm-hmm.
some of the stuff that we've posted on our YouTube channels, and for
Yeah.
those of you out there that are starting YouTube or are into YouTube, you will post a video.
Yeah.
And the video will start off, maybe that video will get 20 views or
Mm-hmm.
100 views. And then the next video you post will get 500 views or 600 views. I mean,
Yeah.
to Shaun's point, I think it was last week, he, like me, post a lot of videos about, motivation and empowerment and just different things that we're up to. So those usually do 500, sometimes 400, 500 views if they're shorts. And so, as life would have it, a simple commercial about an AC unit and him holding an AC unit
Bedjet.
gets, I think it was 1,000 something views, and you're just like,
No, it got 5,000
1,000
views.
views.
Wait, let me tell you. Okay. So, as Ray was saying, I post these spiritually based, empowering, uplifting videos that have, at the highest, gotten maybe 1,000, actually a little bit over 1,000 views. I can remember dating back a bit. But then, so I did this UGC, user generated content commercial for BedJet. BedJet is basically an air conditioner that blows into your sheets while you're sleeping, and it can also be a heater. And I'm just acting out on this thing. You know, sometimes I feel like a turkey on Thanksgiving Day in the oven, you know. Tell me why I get a notification from YouTube. Congratulations, your video has surpassed 5,000 views. I'm thinking, oh, okay, what video is this? It's the BedJet video. I was like, so people would rather watch me play with an air conditioner in the bed than listen to some life changing content.
This is
What
the
gives?
this is
What
the funny
gives?
thing, just about just about content creation as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
The things that move people,
Yeah.
depending on the day, depending on whatever space that they're in, will blow you up. And other days,
Yeah.
they're just like, I don't want to hear this sugar
Yeah.
iced tea. I don't want to hear this ish.
Yeah.
But that's just par for the course when you're
Yeah.
in this business, and you take the good with the bad, with the funny,
Mm-hmm.
with the head scratching moments, and you mix all of that together,
Yeah.
and that's business. That's entrepreneurship. So,
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing, honestly, is just keep creating,
mhm,
right? Don't feel like, you know, if you do YouTube for the views, for the subscribers and the comments and all that stuff, you're likely gonna fail
mhm,
because that's outside of you. You can't control it, right? I've got a multitude of videos on Instagram that have gone over 10,000 views or
mhm,
whatever. And I would have never thought that that would have happened.
right.
And because I didn't think that way, my focus was always on, okay, I just want to create and put something out there. And I know that
Mm,
it can help one person, it might help two or three, you know,
right.
and then all of a sudden it helps 25,000.
Yep.
And then you say to yourself, okay, you get caught up in that.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna try to put out the content that gets the hits, the hitch, and it goes the opposite direction. So my
Yep.
point is just create because you love it, create because you have something to say that somebody somewhere on this planet needs, and you will find you'll have so much of a so much enjoyment
Yeah.
with that entire process.
Mhm, mhm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, to wrap up, guys, this has been so much fun.
Yes.
Talking about our journeys, just talking about, all things entrepreneurship. We will definitely be back to talk more about topics that just that just inspire us and just different things that are on our minds about entrepreneurship. Let us know what you guys would like to hear us talk about. Give us ideas for future shows, for any type of feedback. Um,
Hmm.
we will link, I have an email address that I will link for you guys to send in information for us to talk about, or maybe even join us on this platform and add to the discussion. So, Shaun,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me today on our first episode. I can't wait for more, and we will see you guys in the next video.
Yes. I'd like to add something before we go, real quick here. I know we only got a few seconds. Whatever dream you got, whatever passion you have, follow it and follow it to the best of your ability. You got this. It's been placed on the inside of you. Don't look back. Keep looking forward. Do you, be you, shine. You got
Thank you
it.
so much. Yes, yes, yes. Never give up on your dreams. They're there for a reason. Pursue
Yeah.
them recklessly, pursue them with everything you got, and watch yourself flourish.
Amen.